Indian economy. Around 50% of our population depends on agriculture for employment. However, the performance of agriculture sector in the post-reform period can at best be described as mixed. Indian agriculture also suffers from low productivity. This creates a vicious cycle of low wages which culminates into lower spending on education and health by the rural households, thus leading to lower productivity. Thereby, rural population scores less on the Human Development Index. To enlighten us on this theme, we have with us today Dr. Menachem Dinar, a renowned agricultural scientist and administrator from Israel. I request Mrs. Anshula Kant, DMD and CFO of State Bank of India, to escort Dr. Dinar to the stage. Dr. Dinar is a PhD and an agriculture business professional. He is highly experienced in agricultural management, marketing, and environment related issues. He has expertise in greenhouse business and has performed innovative research into practical agriculture. He has led multiple international consultancy and research projects for the government, IFC, and World Bank in various and other commercial companies in various countries around the world. I now request Dr. Dinar to deliver his special address on making the desert bloom.
Good morning or good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here, and I must say that the previous panel, I like very much the discussion. Although there's a very big difference between Israel and India, I could find many similarities, maybe how to approach or whatever. Okay, my talk today, I will try to explain some of the aspect how we make what we call the desert bloom in Israel. It's not only one activity, it's a mixture or involvement of several organizations, and it is a very good success. I think it's a good opportunity to show it here, and I will start. Oh, sorry. Agriculture in Israel is a part of an overall government policy to support low populated area. I don't know if you know very much on Israel, but in Israel we have the center, it's not a big one, and we have the south, very unpopulated. New direction in agriculture are based on development and adoption of new technology suitable for conditions prevailing in the region. I'm talking very much about the connection between the central government and the region, because not everything is done by the government. It cannot be done also in the region. This is a very simple procedure how a successful project took place in Israel. I'm sure it's not only in Israel, other places as well. The strategy have to be set by the government. The government took a decision and then make the goals and the final financial resources. Without that, it's very difficult to go on with any project or successful. So first of all, the government is very involved in those kind of projects. Second, we have a very developed in Israel connection, what we call professional committees. And in the committees, there is a very good relationship between research, growers, extension service, the people who are making the training. All of them are making the priorities. The grower are very, very important part in making the decision. In the decision, I mean, what are the needs, how to proceed. So after having the decision of the government, we have professional committees. Later on, we are going into regional development in the region itself. It's very similar what have been here, that one of the participants, sorry, I don't remember his name, said the villages or the village is part of the solution. In agriculture, actually, most of the solution are in the village. So in the village itself or in the area, again, we call it local applied research. It's not theoretical research. Research is done in the region itself, technology transfer, implementation in the grower farms. This is a very important chain in all the chain of the success of the project. I hope you hear me? It's okay? Yeah. Okay, this is a, okay, some words about Israel, very short presentation, because you know, of course, agriculture needs water. Without water, we cannot make agriculture. So one of the priority of Israel government was to develop water sources in the remote areas. The total acreage in Israel, square kilometer is 22,000, very small one. Arable land, 44,000 hectares, irrigated and non-irrigated. But rain, in the rain you see in the north of Israel, quite good amount of rain. In the south, very, very low, or we don't have at all rains during the winter time. So this is important to know. The main area for the main sources for water are the Sea of the Galilee here. We convey water from here to there. Coastal aquifer and the mountain aquifer. Those are the three main sources of the water. 80% of the water is in the north here, and only 20% are on the south. Actually, the source of the water, is existing potable water, reservoir, lakes, aquifer, marginal water, saline water. This is a very important source of water in Israel. We are making a lot of activities to improve them. Rainfall and desalination. Desalination is becoming more and more important source. We are using also the sewage water, effluent, and actually today, most of the water the grower use is coming from sewage effluents. Of course, it's a very high purified, no problem to use it. We have all the process. But this is the most important source of water, and of course, the government invests all the money for that. Desalination in the, sorry. Desalination is also a very big industry now. High amount of water are desalinated. Today, we have around 600 or 500 million or 600 million of desalination of water. I can take it by hand. Okay. 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 Now it's better? You hear me? Yeah, it's okay? Good. Okay, this was a general description of the government and the state of Israel and the government decision. I would like to talk more on activity in the region itself. Because in my opinion, I'm traveling a lot. If the region itself is not interested, something is wrong here, I don't know. To move here? Okay. The activity of development in the region take more and more importance in the development of agriculture and to develop new source of income. I think this is important, and if you have any question later on, you can ask me a lot. So I'm giving you an example, what happened in a very specific area, but very, very important area. This is the south of Israel. We call it Arava, and here they have only seven villages, but are very, very important. Very, very important. So the Negev, all this area, comprise 60% of the land, but approximately 10% of its population. So it's unpopulated, and it's very important area for Israel. So the government wants to populate it and to develop source of income. Actually, this is a very, very strong desert. It's arid desert, extreme climate, long summer, short and dry winter, less than 3 inches of yearly water, isolated, and saline soil and saline water. But this is a very successful area, and I'll tell you how they make it. Actually, not they, all the system make it together. The idea, and this is a very unique organization as I see it, and some countries adopting this kind of concept. Regional development, it's a unique procedure to develop a specific region. The rural development process is based on holistic approach where they analyze together the management. What will be the potential crop with relative agronomical and economical advantage? What is the marketing? Here I wrote mainly export, but it's not necessarily right only for Israel and for sure for India. Not only export is important. The local market sometimes have a demand for good quality and can pay better money than export. So marketing is important, not necessarily export in our technology and grower capabilities. We cannot develop this kind of desert without new technology. Not less important is based on cooperation, and we are working in this procedure for many, many years. I was working in the extension service and the research, and the idea is actually we don't have one organization, but it's a very good cooperation between research, also applied research, and also theoretical research, growers, and extension service. We have a professional committees. No, the decision are making together. This is very, very important. I know that sometimes researchers wanted to work alone, etc., but we are used to this kind of it's working together. Let's say working together, getting a decision together, and also making the research, the applied research. I'm talking about applied research. Okay, now the people in Arava, the name, don't forget the name, Arava, they decided to create what we call Arava Research and Development. In this center, they have organization, they call it Arava R&D. I suggest, and they accept it, to call it Applied R&D, Applied Research and Development. We are not interested only in theoretical, applied R&D. So it's very interesting organization, and it's located in the Arava, but not only in the south of Israel. Other regions saw this kind of activity and established themselves also the R&D in the north. Some of them are very successful, some of them not. So this is what I wanted to show you about the idea of how to develop a specific area. I think in India, by the way, I was several times in India, for example, in Meghalaya. They have a good product of potato seeds. They are thinking about these kind of things. We have to work together. No organization will solve the problem alone. Okay, so, okay. I will not go all the details, but they have, but they have a very intelligent group. They're making a very, very good vision. They know the vision. Agriculture is they want to develop the agriculture in arid region, innovate usage of water, biotechnology, desert technology, support the sustainable in the central Arava, attract new residents because it's attracting. It's new technology. It's not a cell phone, but it's technology of agriculture, which is much more interested, of course. Yeah. Okay, so they have the vision and the working assumption. You know, for example, this Arava area developed a very interesting source of income. Let's say a very simple one. How to establish project of pepper in greenhouse for export. And this gave a lot of money for many, many years. Now it's not very good because competition. But the idea, they are concentrated on this subject. They are concentrated, maybe too much. They are concentrated on this project, and they make a research or make development on all aspects. It's not only the, I'll go later on. It's an holistic approach, and this is very, very important. It's not easy, I will explain it. It's not easy to establish this kind of approach. But if somebody go to develop a village or state or whatever project, at least we are trying to have the holistic approach. It's not only seed companies, it's not only industry, it's not only separately. We are working on irrigation management, on pepper, together with breeding. Breeding is the most important thing. It's not easy to, it's not good to bring only the greenhouse and the drip irrigation. We have to find the best varieties. Research on integration pest management, because in Europe, where we export the pepper, they have to get very, very clean pepper. So we are envelop it with rich salinity management, because we have saline soil. So I'm not going to go over that, but the idea that this applied R&D center covering most of the subjects in an holistic approach. That's very important. Just two case studies. One is the success fast-track implementation, export of fresh tomato to the EU. It was a time that the Arava people, the people from Arava, the income was zero. So actually, a development of export of tomato to the EU was very difficult. And the successful project, the main important thing was the breeding. In Israel, we have a very good breeding system. So we developed a certain variety, good for the European. And later on, of course, more and more varieties and all the technology. So this, the case study of tomato was successful many, many years until competition came from other countries, Morocco, Egypt, etc. So one of the purpose of this kind of R&D, always to think what will happen in 5 years. Today tomato is good, but in the future we have to be careful. So it's not only what we are doing today, we have to have a program. And the second project was very successful, as I mentioned before, the pepper. The pepper was very, very successful. People get really rich, but now the pepper decreased in the prices, of the pepper decreased because, again, competition. It was expected that people, the Moroccan or Egypt or whatever, will study the system. And so now we are working on another. So this is just on how regional applied R&D are working together. And I think it can be adapted in many other places. I don't want to say in India, you know it better than me. Now, just how much I have? How much time I have? How much more time? 10 minutes is okay? Okay. Now, I would like to describe in a very short time what are the most interesting technology that really contribute for this area, but not only for this area, for all Israel, but mainly for this area. The most important technology at that time was the drip irrigation. You know, the drip irrigation, you have it also in India, was invented in Israel about 45 years ago, and this changed all the option to grow a good, successful crop. What is the drip irrigation? The drip irrigation gave an optimal water and nutrient application. Optimal, I mean not less, not more, and that's all. Saving water. We have a very big problem of water, so drip irrigation really saves water. Marginal soils. In India, you have a lot of marginal soils. I know that drip irrigation can give a very good solution to this kind of soils. And plant protection. You know, for example, if you are irrigated with the sprinklers, you can expect a lot of problems of plant protection. The system is based on applying nutrient and water in the same drop. Each drop coming from the pipe or the dripper contain, of course, the water, but all the nutrients the plant need. We analyze the soil, analyze the water, and then complete the necessary nutrition to the plant. So each drop contains all the nutrient. Sorry. Okay. The volume of the wetted soil is very small and restricted. Very frequent application is a common process. Okay, I'm not going to teach you, unless you want, the drip irrigation, but I'll tell you the principles. First of all, is the most efficient irrigation system. About 90% of the water you apply is absorbed by the plant. Compare, for example, in flood irrigation, it's only 32. So for Israel, it's an optimal solution. Not only. And you see here again, this is how uniformity the water is applied. Here you have the overlapping. We don't irrigate the lower part of the roots, so we can save a lot of water. Okay. This is a nice photo I took from drip irrigation. You see potato in this case. You see here, after the irrigation, how uniform it, and it doesn't waste water in places it's not needed. It's not only, the drip irrigation looks very easy, but it's not like that. We have a lot of research done in the university or other institute to know what will be the movement of the water in the soil. For example, this is heavy soil, and this is sandy soil. It's moved different. If it's moved different, it means that you have to apply different distance between the drippers. Okay? Now, something is wrong? Okay, never mind. It's not only the application of water, it's the timing of water application and amount. So most of the growers are using tensiometers. Tensiometer is equipment to measure the water tension in the water, meaning if it's enough water or not enough, so you have to add more. So it has to be monitored, okay? This was used in the past, just to take it by, by hand and to see. But this is a very important one. Okay. Most of the crop in Israel, not all of them. I know rice also is now an experimental work is done in India, but potato, processing tomato, you mentioned processing tomato for mango, carrot, table grapes, very, very good results. So drip irrigation actually gave the trigger for the success in the Arava. Now, some word about the greenhouse. Greenhouse is a very important task. I think it's a very good technology. But, of course, you have to choose the right technology. You don't have to invest much money in a very sophisticated greenhouse. You have to analyze the condition in the area, the climate, the soil, the capability or the skill of the grower. You mentioned a lot the skill. And then to determine what will be the right greenhouse technology suitable for this area. I'll go over very, very fast some slides. Basically, we can divide the world of greenhouses into three elements. One is active greenhouse, when you have very sophisticated control, irrigation, heating system, and light. This is not for India, I think so, also not for Israel. A passive greenhouse, which polyethylene, simple polyethylene, I call it simple, but it's not that simple, polyethylene, and drip irrigation, and maybe more, a little bit more technology, but not more than that. We don't want to be too sophisticated. There is another interesting solution for greenhouse, Chinese greenhouse. I'm working now also in China. They have very interesting greenhouse. They have 2 million hectares, by the way. 2 million hectares of this kind of greenhouse. The Chinese greenhouse is a very big advantage in the winter time. I'll talk it later. Okay, I don't think I have a time. This is just an illustration of a very active greenhouse, including the glass, including the soilless media, computer, etc. It's used mainly in North Europe, in Holland, etc. We tried in Israel. It was too high investment and didn't give good return in our summer because it's very hot in Israel, like here. This is, again, the active. In some places, you see here, they use glass house, light during the winter time, very expensive, but very good. So they can produce, not only in the period with the light, they can produce during the winter time. So in the winter time, the prices of the product is very high. I'm sure that they know the calculation, but it's not always necessary. And this is just in the desert, in our desert, and I know that in India also you have greenhouse. I traveled sometime in Holland. This is a very simple greenhouse. I call it poly or net houses. Light and heat is manipulated. I'll show you later on. The varieties are very, very important. You know, when we are talking an holistic approach, we have to choose the right variety. It could be from abroad, it could be from India, it could be from Israel. But the selection of the variety is the part of the success. Clever irrigation and nutrition procedure, it looks easy, but it's not always easy. Plant protection I mean for insects or diseases. It can grow in the soil or in the soilless media. This is an example of polyhouse, can be very suitable, for example, here. This is simple net house, only net. And by the way, in the Arava, the place that I show you, most of the crops are under net house. It's not necessary to invest more. So net house is low cost, I mean, good return with, they are very, very clever. I mean, they will not invest if it's not necessary. I'm sure that you will like it. This is a manipulation of the light by the polyethylene. You know, polyethylene looks very simple. Maybe it's simple, but it's not. It's very, very clever. You see, these are two tunnels. The same day, the same variety. Here, the plants are looking very, very good, and here the plants are looking very, very bad. We didn't know what happened there. And then it was I was heading also an R&D. We looked what happened. The difference was in the plastic, in the polyethylene. It's an additive that prevents, you see here the spectrum is, never mind, the spectrum is very important, but this kind of polyethylene include an additive that confuse the navigation of aphids. Now it's very, very common, but at that time, you see how much money we can save only by choosing or working on the right polyethylene. You see, just an experiment, it's not that important. This one, you can grow directly on the soil, or you can grow in the soilless media. This is quite good because you can save water and nutrient, and you can also recycling the water. You can collect the water and recycle it. It's not a very difficult technology, but everything you have to know. Oh, this is I think this is the last one. This is an example of Chinese greenhouse. Maybe it's suitable for high places in India. I don't know where it's called. In this greenhouse, they have a wall, and the wall absorbs the heat during the day and release it during the night. So sometimes it can say, the difference in temperature can be 8 centigrades. So we have to be open, not only the Israeli technology to the Dutch, we can take also from other places as well, if it's suitable. Let's analyze it. Okay, just to summarize. Israeli agricultural summary, as I see it, the government highlights along the chain of success. First of all, the government. It was very, very a system from the government. Now the government is invest less in agriculture. Strategic decision and budget allocation. Regional activity is very important, very important. Emphasis on development, adopt technology, and high-value crops. That's important, not only to the export, but also the high-value crop. Integration between research, training, and growers, and of course, the capability of the Israeli growers. I agree 100% with the previous panel about skill. It's not skill only in the university. You have to have, listen, the agriculture, the farmers in Israel are very, very educated, but always are making training, always more skill, more. I like this kind of discussion. Okay, thank you very much. That's